Hello, friends, and welcome to Empower You 2 podcast. I'm your host, Natasha Paris, and I'm excited because you are in the building with me. You can be anywhere in the world, but you have chosen to be here with me, and I am so humbled and appreciative. Let me tell you about this show. Each and every single week, we continue to empower you to greatness that is truly going to help you, whether you are a person that have experienced a heartbreak, have gone through a divorce, or have endured levels of trauma of any kind, or you're just a person trying to rebuild their life and themselves, and now you are finally ready to live a life full of abundance, joy, and peace, then this show is for you. So with that said, thank you again for being here. I am extremely grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you because together we are empowered for greatness. You ready? Let's go. Hello. It is your girl, Natasha Paris, the mental health therapist expert, and I'm super excited to come before you because guess what? We got a hot topic. We have a hot topic that we are going to talk about today, episode 113, also known as 113. I hope all is well with everyone. Okay, my friends. Well, the topic for episode 113, season 2 is menopause and mental health. Is it impacting your daily life? Oh my goodness. Yes. Menopause and mental health. How are they correlated? Well, there's a huge correlation that we're going to talk about today because how many of our listeners are premenopausal, menopausal, or postmenopausal? So I'm going to give some definitions because let me tell you, sister girl here is going through it as I am in my premenopausal state, and we're talking about hot flashes. We're talking about, oh my goodness, sometimes sleepless nights. Yes, it is real. It truly is real. And so oftentimes women believe that they are alone in this. And there's a large correlation with how not only you are physically feeling, but how you are feeling mentally. So let's jump right into it. And well, let me say this. If this topic alone really resonates with you, I want you to go to your favorite platform and hit that 5-star button. Yes, I'm saying hit the 5-star button even before hearing this episode because it's going to be amazing anyways. Okay. So I want you to hit that 5-star button on your favorite platform and also write down what resonated with you. In addition to that, sharing is caring because let me tell you, how many women deal with menopause and how many women are really battling it. And I'm going to give you some tips, some real life tips, things that you can do today that can support your development and support your coping skills. So you're not thinking that you're just losing it. Okay. All right. So let's just jump right into this. What is menopause? Okay, what is menopause? It's a natural biological process marking the end of your menstruational cycle. Yes. You're like, oh my goodness, the cramps, the acne. Oh my goodness, the heavy bleeding, all of that stuff that we women go through that we don't typically like. Okay, so it actually happens around between ages of 45 and 55. And there's stages of menopause, which includes perimenopausal, right? That's the actual scientific medical term, menopause and postmenopausal. Okay. So what is perimenopause? Or premenopausal, which is where I believe that I am. Okay. It typically happens around ages 45, some people a little earlier. It happens 45, 42, 43, 44, 45, up until probably about 50. Okay. But of course, there are people who have different ages around that time where it typically happens. It typically lasts several years, 4 to 10 years. And it's when your hormones are fluctuating. Yes, it's your hormones are fluctuating. And many of the symptoms include irregular periods. So you might have a period in March and then you may skip another month. And so you won't have a period in like April and May. And then suddenly in June, July, it comes. You're like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. Hopefully you weren't wearing white when it came on. Okay. It also includes hot flashes. Oh my goodness. When we're talking about hot flashes, it is feeling like there is an infernal in your body, right? You're fine. I'm talking from experience. You're fine. And then all of a sudden you feel this enormous amount of heat in your body internally. And you're like looking at everyone else. Are they hot? Did it all of a sudden just get really heated in this room? And you start sweating. Yes, it can be very, very embarrassing because you're like, I don't know why am I sweating and everyone else is like cold, or just very uncomfortable. Okay. In addition, it also happens with mood swings. And so that's when your body, your mind, your emotions are all over the place, right? 1 minute you're feeling really excited and happy and feeling a sense of joy. But then next minute you find yourself getting really irritated and frustrated, like quickly. And you're like, what is going on with me? In addition, it also includes sleep disturbances and changes in your libido. And what does that mean? Your sex drive. You're like, don't touch me. I don't want to be bothered, right? Or it could happen where you get an increased level of libido where you're like, I want it every day, all day. We're being very real and being honest, okay? In addition, this stage ends when a woman has not had their period for 12 consecutive months. That's when it actually ends and you're moving into menopause. So this stage, right, is when the ending of this particular stage is when you do not have a period for 12 consecutive months. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to move into what is menopause. So now you're moving into from perimenopausal or premenopausal to menopause. And that is where you have no period for 12 consecutive months. And it typically occurs around the ages of 51, 52, 53. But of course, it can vary. And during this stage, your ovaries produce significantly less estrogen and progesterone, okay, which supports our hormones, our feelings, emotions, as well as what's going on physically with us, okay? In addition, right, it also includes, yes, you thought it was going to stop, you thought it was going to end, but no, it didn't. It continued. You have symptoms that include hot flashes, night sweats where you just break out in a complete sweat or drenched. And again, all of these symptoms vary from one person to the next. It also includes vaginal dryness and changes in your mood. You're trying to figure out what is going on with you. And then now, what is postmenopausal? That basically means that you have moved out of that stage of menopause, right? And now you're in the stage where it lasts for the rest of a woman's life. And those symptoms include, reduce hormone levels. And then at times it can actually begin to balance themselves out, right? And it can lead to long-term changes such as increased risk of osteoporosis and heart disease. Wow, being a woman is no joke. Being a woman is no joke, right? Because we are the vessels that carry life. And because we carry life, it also comes with some interesting things that happen to our bodies. Okay. So let's talk about what phase do you think that you're in? Ask yourself, if you're listening to this episode on the Empower You 2 podcast, think about, where do you fall into? Do you fall into the perimenopause, the menopause, or the postmenopause? Okay, ask yourself those questions. And of course, all of this impacts the brain and the body. And hormones play a significant role in mood regulation. And it's important for us to often pay attention to this, right? Because we're thinking, oh, we're just losing it, when in fact our hormones are very wacky. And the best way to describe it is when a woman is pregnant, her hormones are all over the place, right? She has these cravings. She's a little attitude-ish. She's tired, right? So people are more likely to really accept it because it's like, oh, okay, she's pregnant, because they can physically see it. But when you're not physically pregnant and people can physically see the symptoms, it's hard for them to understand. And even it's hard for you to understand what is happening to you. And some of the common mental health symptoms that happen during these stages of perimenopausal, menopause, and postmenopausal are anxiety, where you feel this level of nervousness, fear. Another mental health symptom is depression, my friends, when you're feeling overly sad. And let me say this, as a licensed clinician, I say to people all the time that being sad is normal. We all have that emotion. But what makes sad turn into depression is when you're feeling like the world is closing in on you. You feel this level of darkness for more than 3 months consecutively. Like you out of the 7 days out of the week, you feel like out of 7, 3 to 5 of those days, you feel overwhelmingly sad and just stuck. Okay. Another one is mood swings, where you're happy one day and then the next minute you're extremely angry or very sad. Okay. And it's hard for you to regulate your mood. Another is also being able to remember things. Okay. Yes. Memory problems. Let me tell you. Don't tell me something like, I can remember all of my clients' information. I can remember their names. I can remember all of those really pertinent information, but don't tell me or ask me, what did I do the day before? It's crazy. Like, I cannot remember. I have to really sit down and think about it. So I don't know if you feel what I'm talking about, but if it's happened to you, so you understand what I mean. Okay. Also, difficulty concentrating. It's just hard for you to concentrate. You feel like you have mush on the brain, or you're just thinking about so many things and you cannot focus and you get distracted pretty quickly. All right. And so one of the things that it does, I'm going to say several things that it does when you're dealing with this, is that it prevents you from sleeping well. You have interrupted sleep. You have insomnia that affects your mood, because if you're not sleeping, oh, believe me, you're very angry when you wake up and very irritable. Another is also it changes your self-esteem. Because one of the things, and I didn't mention earlier, is that when you are in these stages, you tend to gain weight. Yes. Like that stomach weight, I was going through it. I was like, oh my goodness, why is it that I'm gaining weight and I don't know what I'm doing differently? It's your hormones that need to be regulated. And so what happens is that when you're talking about changes in your self-esteem, yes, because you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, this is not who I imagine in my head. Okay, so you're going to have to do more than you've ever done before. That means you're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have to really change your eating habits, and you're going to have to eat more to build up your metabolism, get it revving up so it can begin to fight against the hormone concerns. Okay. In addition, I really, really want to talk about how the hormones are impacted, how it's impacting the brain. Okay. One of the things that I often say is that it is so important, my friends, and I'm speaking to the women because we're talking about menopause that impacts women only. I know that there are things that impact men as they get older, but we're focusing on the women. Okay. There are mental impacts. There are emotional impacts. There are physical impacts and there's spiritual impacts. What does that mean? Mentally, you're trying to figure out what is happening to your body. Emotionally, your mood is all over the place. Physically, you're looking at your body and you're saying, I don't like what's happening here. I'm gaining weight in areas that I never gained weight before. And then spiritually, you start really questioning what is happening, not just to you physically and emotionally, but you're like, I'm feeling withdrawn from God. And it happens. I've heard clients have said this because they felt like they're not this a level of disconnect. And so when we deal with these things and these things are not addressed, my friends, it can really impact you and cause you to go down a rabbit hole or spiral out of control. And when I talk about spiraling out of control, you may take it out on not just your family members or those you love most, but you can take it out on yourself. And that's when it becomes very detrimental. And we're talking about women having suicidal ideation where they're thinking about taking their life. They never had those thoughts, but those lies begin to creep into their minds and they begin to believe the lies when they're looking at themselves in the mirror, when they're mood changes are happening more often than before. And so what are some of the things that you can do today, effective ways to manage your hormones? Because you are not alone. There are millions and millions of women going through it every day. But oftentimes they feel alone and they feel like it has nothing to do with their hormones. It has all to do with what's happening at work. Yes, I can totally agree. Work can impact it. It can exacerbate it. But it's primarily your hormones. It's like saying, okay, oh my goodness, when you were on your period, you just knew that you were a little moody right before your period came along. And when you identified that, you're like, okay, I'm just hormonal. I'm good. Or when you're pregnant, you're like, I'm just hormonal. Okay, yeah, I'm fine. But it's hard to make that correlation when you're past childbearing age. Okay. All right. So effective ways is mindfulness and meditation. I can't stress this enough. In the beginning of my Empower You 2 podcast, in the beginning of the week, we do a mindful meditation included with affirmations. Because what I know for sure as a mindful meditation instructor is that it is so important for you to be in a place where you quiet that mind. You quiet it down and you take deep breaths. You learn how to breathe and you learn how to quiet the chatter that is in your head. Okay. And so that helps. Exercise is huge because what we know is that when you exercise, you release hormones that are called endorphins, and endorphins in the brain helps you to have clarity of mind. It gives you those good feeling, emotions where you're like, oh my goodness, I feel good. It's important for you to incorporate exercise into your daily regimen, working out at least not 1 or 2 days a week. No. Don't believe the hype. That's not going to do a lot. Okay. We're talking about 4 to 5, if not 6 times a week, getting your heart pumping blood, getting those endorphins running through every fiber of your body. Yes, my friends, because it's going to help with the weight loss, and it's also going to help more than anything else. It's going to help with clarity of mind. In addition, you're also going to add a healthy diet. You're going to incorporate omega-3s and vitamins into your diet, my friends. It makes a world of a difference. I've been doing it and it has helped tremendously. Another, get adequate sleep, my friends. Stop burning the candle on both sides. Get the sleep that you need, right? It's just like when a cell phone is acting real quirky. Guess what you do? You turn it on, you turn it off and then turn it back on. That in itself is super important. Getting 6 or more hours of sleep a night helps regulate your hormones, okay? In addition, it's important to drink lots of water. How much water should you be drinking? If you are 100 pounds, you should be drinking half your body weight, not 50 pounds of water. No, 50 ounces of water. When you start working out, you add an additional 20 ounces to that. It's important for you to hydrate your body. It helps with improvement of skin, your complexion, and also your body is made up of 68 to 70% water. And so you want to replenish it. You want to, you want to add more water back into your system. As you go to the bathroom, you lose water. As you sweat, you're losing water. Come on now. As you cry, yes, you've been in those places where you're crying for no reason at all, just because that commercial was super sad. Yes, when you're hormonal, you're crying more often. You need to replenish it back into your system. Okay. In addition to that, you want to have a strong network of family, friends, and a support group, whether it is joining a church group, whether it is, joining a baking group, or whether it is, taking a Krav Maga class, which is, martial arts. In addition, just really being in a place where you feel comfortable being yourself and being transparent and vulnerable, my friends. That is super important. In addition, you may want to, if the symptoms persistently impact and affect your daily life, this is more from a medical piece, right? I am not a doctor. I'm a licensed clinician, but I will never say that I am an MD, okay? But there are things that you can do, that you can begin to talk to your PCP, your primary care physician, about. And that is hormonal replacement therapy, or hormone replacement therapy, also known as HRT. Another is antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications that will help regulate your mood and help you get out of that stuck place or that quicksand place. And then, of course, I always make these recommendations. Join a counseling group or look into getting individual therapy. It makes a world of a difference. It allows you to be heard, to be seen, and also allow you to hear yourself, okay? So it's so important. I want you to know, if you follow on these steps, my friends, you will feel a level of fulfillment, joy, and peace. Because guess what? It's impactful to those around you, not just to yourself, but to those who love you, who cannot stand to see you in that place. So understand that there's some golden help there, okay? It's important for you to know that. So let's just kind of quickly do a recap. Points to remember is that menopause can significantly affect your mental health. It's important to be aware. It's important to understand that there's support systems and treatment options that are available. In addition, it's important for you to seek help in a small group and talk to your doctor, right? Because everyone's experience is unique. Support is available to you. And I want you to know that, from the bottom of your heart. You need to understand that you are not alone in this. And so I want to leave you with these mental keys, okay, to becoming emotionally whole, because this is what Empower You 2 podcast is all about. It's about assisting and helping you become the best version of yourself. And so what I want you to do is I want you to reflect often. Reflect on your life. Learn to be grateful, right? Be grateful for all of the great things that are happening in your life. I want you to smile often. I want you to be authentic often. Be your authentic self. I want you to love on you often. When was the last time you said you love you? If it was 5 months ago, it's about time. If it was years ago, it's way past about time. Okay, right? It's way past due. And then I also want you to say thank you often. Thank you to those who have, who love on you, who serve you when you go to a restaurant. Say thank you. It helps to increase gratitude. And when your gratitude is increased, it takes you to the next altitude of success and emotional wholeness. And so with that said, I hope that this was of value to you, my friends, because my goal, as always, is to what? You know how I close. I want you to be empowered for greatness, because without greatness, my friend, there's no you. And without you, there's no greatness. Sit on that one. Sit on that one. All right. So share this with as many people as possible. And of course, hit that 5-star button. I want to hear from you. Bye.